Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast. Now, we've already taken you through everything that's happening with the global markets, but let's talk about how all of these overnight cues can impact us and all of the individual cues that you should track as we get into a fresh trading session. Our research team joins us now with the trade setup, as well as to take us through all of the individual stocks that could be in the news today. Rima, Nigel, and Vahishta are all with us. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. And Rima, to you first. It has been a solid session on Wall Street. We're seeing the handover in the Asian markets. So the start will definitely be positive, but take us through the details.
Absolutely. The one-line summary is inflation cools down and the stocks hot up, right? But we're seeing a fabulous rally on Wall Street overnight. Asian markets this morning are surging, and the SGX Nifty is suggesting that it's going to be a very strong start to begin trade with. It will get us closer to the resistance level. So the opening could be at levels between that 18,250 to 18,300, and this is where the Nifty had faced resistance earlier this week. So if you remember, the Nifty intraday high on Monday was 18,255. The Nifty intraday high on Wednesday was about 18,296. So this is a zone of congestion. Earlier this week, the markets did pause around these levels, retraced a bit. So let's see, the gap up opening will take us to that level, whether we have the strength in us to conquer that and then inch up to our all-time high levels. One of the big indicators is dollar index. The dollar index has now fallen to levels of 108.1. These levels were at 110 just yesterday and closer to 114 just a couple of weeks ago. The FI buying yesterday was fairly muted, just about 36 crore. This is the smallest buy figure seen by the FIs in the month of November, but yesterday was also a down day for our markets. Let's see whether that reverses, because general trend by the FIs is that they've been buying in the cash market. The DII selling picked up 967 crores seen in the cash market yesterday. That said, the inflows into the equity mutual fund via the SIP route continues to be very strong. So yesterday, post-market hours, we got the SIP data, and in the month of October, the SIP inflows have crossed that 13,000 mark. So that's the big picture. But of course, Pavitra, it's going to be all about those earnings, and there's so much to talk about on that front.
Oh, absolutely. We do have a lot of big earnings which came through, and we have Vahishta to fill us in with that entire list. Vahishta, a lot about the auto pack today.
That's right, Pavitra. A lot about the auto pack. Let me start with Eicher Motors. Strong earnings, largely in line with estimates. Market share in the above 125cc segment for motorcycles has risen to 30.2% in first half of the ongoing financial year versus 26% in on a year-on-year basis. So take on that. Ashok Leyland, again, very strong earnings in Q2. There's an all-round beat. The market share is at 32% today. Apollo Hospitals, revenue and profit were better than estimates, though margins came in line with the estimates. Jindal Steel and Power adjusted EBITDA was lower than the poll. The EBITDA has come in at 1,400 crores versus the poll, which was at 1,800 crores. The standalone EBITDA per ton has missed the estimates and is at 7,000 rupees approximate per ton versus the poll of 9,000 rupees per ton. For Muthoot Finance, though, the gold AUM is at 56,000 crores, which is up 3.3% on year-on-year basis. The loan per branch is at 12.17 crores, which is flat on a quarter-on-quarter basis, and the average ticket size is up 7.5% on year-on-year basis. For Bata, though, the Q2 results were a mixed quarter. The revenue was a beat. EBITDA and PAT came in as a miss on the estimates. The revenues were at 830 crores versus the estimates, which were at 789 crores. The margins have dipped to 19.4% in the quarter, and the company says that in the mass categories, there has been some degree of sluggishness. Moving on to Power Finance Corporation, the loan growth continues to remain sluggish despite the base effect and reports the highest quarterly PAT in 30 quarters. For SAIL, weak results, three primary reasons. Realizations dropped 18% quarter on quarter. Raw material costs were high, and debt has spiked to 30,000 crores in this quarter. The last is Zomato. Operational metrics have improved even as the pace of growth comes off. So the food delivery segment EBITDA is positive at 2 crores versus loss, which was reported in the past 4 quarters. Back to you.
All right, Vahishta, thanks a lot for taking us through all of those individual results. We're going to keep all of these stocks on our radar. And finally, let me hand it over to Nigel, who's looking at all of the cues from the futures and options space. Hi, Nigel.
Well, what a good morning it is, right? For the bulls, they would have been waiting from late last evening itself for the markets to open up. And they're going to open up well in the green, so that's pretty good news. In terms of flows, the FI as well, their flows have been dwindling down. But I look at the net institution, that's the FI and the DI number together. And yesterday, the net sell number was nearly 950 crores odd. We'll have to track this institutional data because, once that the sell number from the institutions go to around 1,500, 2,000 crores odd, then it's a bit of a worry. But hopefully that doesn't happen. In trade yesterday, we did see that the FIs, they added some short positions. And now the short positioning, from the start of the series has moved from around 41% to around 47%. Now, that's a blessing in disguise for the bulls, because if the flows are not going to be coming in on the institution side and you have shots in the system, well, those shots will have to squeeze out if we get follow through today. On the option side, yesterday, remember, we had weekly expiry that played out, and that's why we did see a bit of a recovery in the final hour of trade. Well, the 18,000 put and the 18,000 call, both of them were very, very active in trade yesterday. Now, if you look at the 18,000 call, the premium's around 160 rupees odd. At the start of yesterday, it was around 250 rupees. Now, those call writers, they'll be in trouble today because we're going to see that big gap up. You'll have to keep an eye out on that, whether we see some kind of unwinding out there. That's telling you that we're bracing ourselves for a bigger short covering bounce. The SGX Nifty is flying away to start. What are the levels you're looking at? Well, the 18,350 on a closing basis is something that the street will be looking forward to very, very closely. So that's something that the bulls will want. And support zone, the kind of writing we're seeing at that 18,000 put, the 17,850 and the 18,000 mark, that's been the buy zone. We saw that yesterday as well. And today, they'll be rewarded. Back to you.
All right, that is the trade setup for the day. Nigel, Rima, Varishta, thanks a lot for joining us and prepping us up for this trading session. But with that, we're going to get into a short break now. When we come back, we'll get you all of the cues from the commodity markets and also some individual stocks that you should keep an eye out for.